There's no doubt the recession has affected every person in Britain in some form. This documentary looks to cover one small solution within this huge problem: food. Whether it's daily, weekly or monthly, every person, couple or family purchase food shopping on some level. The recession has caused shops and manufacturers' product prices to rocket. Unemployment has risen by 877,000 to hit 2.49 million in October 2009. The recession saw a 12-month slump for manufacturers with output down almost 14% year on year at its worst point. This is the lowest seen since 1979. Shelf Life spoke to Clauderay to ask how his background and upbringing has led him to provide consumers food shopping at a fraction of the price to large chain supermarkets.
To give you the short background of where we've come from, I used to work for Sony Ericsson in engineering about 10 years ago. I found myself unemployed with about another 2,000 people. Me and my wife needed to make a living. I was highly skilled, but there was no industry to work in. Went to work on the market selling out-of-date food, which is what my father-in-law was doing because he'd had shops and this is the sort of background that he'd been in. So he went and set me up, but ultimately I was relatively young at the time, and where we went is we started on the markets. We ultimately went from markets into wholesale, from wholesale into shops. We had a franchise, we came out of the shops, and we set up on the internet, and that was about 2 years ago. And from there it's developed from being a job that was a few hours a day to ultimately about 45 people working full time. There's one thing that's unique about this business is that no supermarket can compete with the prices that we sell at, because simply there's absolutely no way, because they'd be losing mega amounts of money. The credit crunch no doubt helped us, and it got people coming to the site. The bit which went and sealed the deal was customer service and value for money, and people talk about, I've just bought this from Dan. They don't say I bought it from Approved Food. They say Dan sold me this and blah blah blah. And that's one of the it was lots of bits of a jigsaw puzzle coming together, and the credit crunch was the accelerator, the catalyst that made people talk about saving.
One customer who has recently found Approved Foods spoke about their shopping habits and experiences purchasing online at approvedfoods.co.uk.
My name is Donna Jones, and we're in Scunthorpe, which is in North Lincolnshire. I use various online shopping. I use Approved Foods as well as Asda's. I don't use Tesco's or anything like that, because using a website called moneysupermarket.com, I found that Tesco's and Ocado and Sainsbury's were much more expensive than Asda's for what I buy. So I use Approved Foods and Asda's. I use Approved Foods probably once to twice a month. Usually around payday, I have a big splurge on things to fill the cupboard up. And then maybe if I see a different offer during the month, then I may quite possibly put another order in. The credit crunch has really made a big impact on us. We've really struggled financially. But you find ways around things. You tighten your belt. Doesn't mean to say you have to live any differently, you just have to change things. I grow my own fruit and veg. I've got hundreds of trees and plants and things outside. I grow my own potatoes, carrots, herbs. I very rarely throw anything away that I can't reuse. My husband took my shower tray out and I turned it into a herb garden. I use Martin Lewis, which is his website. Martin Lewis is God. I claimed fees back from old credit cards and things, bought us a brand new shed.
Shopping around for the cheapest items can often take a lot of time and effort to end up saving you next to nothing. Shelf Life has compared 11 everyday items from 3 well-known supermarkets and Approved Foods. A 1 litre bottle of blackcurrant Ribena appeared cheapest at Tesco's at £2. Approved Foods sold the item at 2 for 99p. That's approximately 50p each and a saving of at least £1.50. McVitie's chocolate digestives 400 grams varied in price in the supermarkets between £1.34 and £1.37. Again, Approved Foods had these items at 2 for 99p, 50p each and a saving of over 80p. 500ml Coca-Cola bottles cost just under £1 at Asda, Tesco's and Sainsbury's. The cheapest store again was Approved Foods, who was selling 4 for 99p, approximately 25p each and a 75% saving. After totalling up the prices for all 11 items at each store, these were the results, showing that by changing where you shop can play a huge role on keeping a healthy bank balance. Not only do Approved Foods sell products to consumers to help protect their pennies, they also buy stock from supermarkets, manufacturers and wholesalers. By doing this, they are preventing these items being wasted and end up adding to Britain's huge landfill bill.
We deal with now manufacturers that you'll have never heard of, but all they do is make all the likes of Tesco, Sainsbury's, even up to the likes of Harrods at the absolute top end. We have, you know, right down to the local own brand, sort of like small chain, you know, like the likes of Farm Foods and things like that. But it really is all across the spectrum now. You know, like we deal with likes of PepsiCo, who own Stack Loads, Prince's Foods, Premier Foods, and if you look at those people and what brands they actually own, you'll recognise all of your kitchen cupboard, that those people just own so many products, and that's a service that we fit in very nicely with them on, because we're giving them a different route for their stock to be cleared. There's a group of people out there, which we need, because if everybody came round to the idea that eating out-of-date food was fine, I wouldn't be able to command the price to buy it at what I do now. So, you know, we're only ever, you know, we're not going to satisfy the nation, but the government's changing the way that they think about how they handle stock, and the funding websites, Love Food, Hate Waste, which is all about changing the nation's opinions on waste, you know, like, so we're fitting quite nicely into what the government wants to do.
UK households dump more household waste into landfill than any other country in the EU, and have consequently been christened the dustbin of Europe. The total area of land taken up for landfill sites is about 28,000 hectares. As well as taking up this space, landfills released 27% of the UK's methane emissions in 2000. With the amount of recycling points, recycling council dustbins and all the campaigns the UK have in place, such as the Love Food, Hate Waste campaign, why aren't we recycling more? Why aren't we minimising our waste? In Nottinghamshire, the government have provided a possible recycling solution in the form of a materials recovery facility.
I'm Steve Spencer and I'm the manager here at the Mansfield Material Recovery Facility in Nottinghamshire. The site opened officially in March 2009, however we've been processing waste and testing the equipment and so forth since November 2008. The process here at the MRF, the material arrives in the tipping hall. It arrives as a commingled material. Material we accept are fibres, being paper, cardboard, plastics, aluminium cans, steel cans. The material enters the process, goes into a pre-sort cabin where we take out large material. We take out the large material because the next part of the process are trommels, which are like big tumble jars with lots of holes in. We need to protect those holes, we keep them clear so that the process actually works better. That's the start of the sorting process, the numerous holes in the trommels, which sorts the material by size. We have 4 different auto sorts within the process, which actually read the material, recognise what the material is, and sends them down particular conveyors that are recognised as being for that particular waste stream. And then eventually the material ends up in our picking cabins. The idea of the cabins is almost a final quality sort, if you like, just to make sure that the material is the best possible quality. Once the material's then sorted into the waste streams, it's baled, and then our third-party recyclers send vehicles into here to fetch the material in its baled state. I suppose the site's aims and objectives are to provide a recycling solution to the people of Nottinghamshire. We have to stop waste going into holes, and this site does exactly what it says on the tin. It provides a viable and a long-term solution to Nottinghamshire's recyclables.
Johanna Walker, Waste and Recycling Officer at Lincolnshire County Council, explains the role she plays in helping to prevent the problem of food wastage in the area and gives us her personal feelings on the topic.
My role is to kind of promote and encourage waste minimisation and recycling, working with the districts to get cross-county campaigns out to increase awareness and raise people's understanding and knowledge of the area. Suggestions on how to reduce food waste. Things like making sure that you plan what you're doing before you go to the shops. Sit down and have a think about what your weekly meals are going to be. And then when you go to the shop, be quite disciplined as you're going down the aisles. And if there is a buy one, get one free offer, for example, start to think, well, if I do get that, then I don't need that item. So to start at that stage by being quite structured in what you're getting, and don't go and out for a pint of milk and get a pint of milk and 7 other items that you're not gonna actually use.
I think my personal feelings about waste going into landfill is we have to change what we're doing. We don't have a choice. You know, it's quite a draconian process, really, burying our waste. There's a lot of technology available out there now, and we have to use the technology. I think we still probably bury our head in the sand a little bit, to be honest, where waste's concerned.
20.9 million tonnes were sent to landfills last year. This was a 1% reduction on the previous year. Although a very small reduction, we are beginning to take a step in the right direction. Together, the people of Britain can all chip in to reduce their own waste. Currently, 60% of the rubbish we throw away into our dustbins could be recycled. If each of us aim to reduce this figure slightly, we can make a tremendous difference to the amount of food we waste as a country. If we use the information and options out there to help us save money, along with common sense when shopping and planning meals, we can not only overcome the recession, but significantly reduce the amount of food we waste.